What's going on, everybody? My name's Tyler. This is Sean. We're Rendered Reality. Thanks for joining us. I know I'm back. Finally, I get it. We
Finally
did do
back.
a we did a brief show this past week for Half Life Alyx when it came out. So I was back for that. If you guys didn't catch that, make sure you check it out. Again, no spoilers in there. We were just kind of discussing that
Yeah.
in chat or
We're,
seeing
we're
that.
trying to be really careful about the spoilers. We know a lot of
Yep.
people are concerned about Half Life Alyx spoilers. And we are going to talk some more about Half Life Alyx today because obviously, one of the biggest things that happened to VR. So
Oh
we
yeah.
will try to be a little bit careful of what we say. So hopefully we don't ruin the game for anybody. I know somebody, I think in our Discord, said they had to unsubscribe from Upload VR
Oh
because
yeah.
even some of their thumbnails for some of the stuff they were putting out could be spoilers. So we will
I know.
definitely try to be careful
Well,
about that.
I get it. Like I get wanting to show and talk about it and stuff because we feel the same way too. But a lot of people haven't played it yet, which I do and don't get at the same time because it's unbelievable. But some people don't even have the headsets to play it or want to wait, and I get that. But yeah, don't give out spoilers. I mean, come on, people. Like
Yeah, we're gonna try
it's
our
hard.
best. We're
Don't
gonna
get me
try our best.
wrong.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about everything because I'm super stoked about it. Just everything that's been going on in it. Um,
Yeah.
are you watching chat too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are saying they like the new coffee shop. Steve XM ordered a rum and coke, please.
There
we're,
you
we're
go.
trying
We
to
can
mix it
arrange
up a
that,
little
I'm
bit.
sure.
Yeah, if you have been watching the channel for a while, we used this scene for a after show party the one time that we had.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we wanted to mix it up a little bit. But I want to throw out there real quick that YouTube is completely screwed up right now. So a lot of people aren't seeing that we're going live, as well as a lot of other channels right now. When they go live, there's nothing showing up. So we do ask that everybody hits the bell notification and hit it for show all or whatever. That should help if you're missing some of our shows and stuff. That hopefully you will get the notifications pushed through that way.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I'm looking at myself now too, and I see lights. I'm actually having to wear glasses today. Rizzle.
Rizzle Rock, man,
Man.
almost every time.
Cheers.
Almost every time hooking it up, Rizzle Rock is
We're gonna have to
always
have
coming
Rizzle on,
through.
man. I was telling you that
Yeah.
when I was gone. I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
he is always coming through with them super chats. He said the team is back in VR. Welcome home, Tyler. So
man,
they
thank
finally
you.
let him out of quarantine, out of the prison he was stuck in, and
It does feel good. It was funny to watch though. When the show was live, we were actually in the middle of driving to Florida, and I actually had it playing in the car and stuff. And we have a little screen on there and stuff, and it said Coffee and VR on there and stuff. And I was like, man, that's kind of cool to look at actually. To listen to the
right.
audio version of it. And if you guys do want the audio version, we do have that available as well.
Yep.
Not trying to plug everything right now, but it's hitting me as I'm going. It's on, let's see, Spotify. It's on Apple, it's on TuneIn, and Anchor. I'm trying to think of all of them
Yeah.
at the moment.
We've had some people
Still
requesting
adding.
it. Yeah, we've had some people requesting it for a while, and we finally got
Yep.
around to pushing out the audio podcast format. So maybe it might be good right now if a lot of people aren't catching this live because they're not getting the notifications, but that's okay.
Very true.
So.
Yep. But we appreciate you guys being here. So what are you been playing? Do I need to ask?
Oh, dude, Half Life Alyx. Oh, it is so amazing. So we did a little
So good.
show earlier in the week where we talked about our initial thoughts. It was like maybe an hour and a half or so after of us first playing it on. Was it Monday? Did it come out Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Monday.
Monday.
And so one of the things I mentioned was that is this all just kind of that shock and awe factor? Come this show Saturday, are we still going to have the same thoughts about this game? And I love it. I mean, there's a couple little nitpicks. One of our nitpick initially was no smooth turning. They did add that, like what the next day or something.
Yeah,
next 2
day
days or something.
The end of the next day. Yep.
Yeah, so they did add that. So now, because I hate snap turning, I'm not a fan of snap turning. So they did add the smooth turning. That is in there. That was one of the fixes they did. So really happy about that. But yeah, I've played Half Life Alyx a lot. This week I actually finished the game. So I finished the game on Thursday, and I put in 11.7 hours is what it took me to get through the game.
Right.
And I wasn't rushing at all. I took a lot of time, like looking all over the place for the different things and ammo and resin and all of that, but I could have even spent longer. I mean, I honestly want to go back in just to do some more exploring now that I got the whole story and everything down. But
well, I haven't even found like any true Easter eggs yet either. Like any real hidden like doors, passages, anything like that. And I know there has to be stuff built into it.
I agree.
I haven't even run into anything like that. Though the one thing that really amazed me is I started looking at all my achievements for the game, and I think there's 41 if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
And there's some really cool ones that now I want to go back in and try because I didn't even realize I did them. And I think one of them was one of the head, like squeezing a head crab heart or something like that. So I'm really curious, like what happens. Like I tried squeezing it thinking maybe it would like blow up or something, and it didn't. But it shows my achievements like 1%. So does anything happen, or is it just an achievement by trying to squeeze them? You know?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
So I'm trying to find mine. I got through the game. I'm trying to see how many of all the achievements I got. I can't find it now on my Steam. On my Steam
Chat.
thing.
So Les Marwick in chat said he spent 30 minutes on the first balcony, and that's my video too that I recorded. I was looking around in awe, and I will say this, and I do want to get into this in a little bit. The visuals and how far you can see playing on the index and in this game are unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean,
it really is.
As a whole, yeah, they did a fantastic job on optimizations and stuff. We can get into more of that, but I mean, it just looks so good. It runs so good. It does. I did notice a little bit more hiccups here and there towards the like later in the game, where it seemed like the performance was a little bit less than what it was in the beginning, but I still didn't really have any issues. But so I made it all the way through the game, and I have 28 of 41 achievement progress. So,
sure.
And I made it, like I said, in 11.7 hours. I finished it on Thursday. But, I mean, it's just been absolutely, I mean, the game's just blown my mind. I mean, it took what we've seen in VR, and it's just, I mean, it set the bar so much higher that, I mean, it's just, the bar has been set just, I mean, I don't even have words. I mean, it's just, it blows my mind how they did on the game. And like I said, we don't want to have spoilers, and hopefully this isn't too much of a spoiler, but I think there could be another one in another game coming after this. It is Valve. It may take another 12, 13, 14
exactly.
years.
They always leave doors open. On all of their games, they always leave the door open, which is good. I mean, they should. Why not? Why kill it? Yeah. Given, the whole rule of 3 thing, and they never actually come out with thirds and all that stuff, but I know they don't like to keep pushing things out. But yeah, I do. I hope they do. And I'm sure they will, because, VR is a new big franchise for them. So I feel like it would be, be odd of them to not, but maybe it'll be something totally different too. But
yeah, absolutely. So hopefully nobody's giving any spoilers in chat either. I know some people are talking. I did see David Becker said, "Good morning. You need to buy me a VR system. Then I know what you're talking about." We know who that is. That is one of our buddies that we've been trying to get into VR for a while. I still can't believe he has not bought a VR system yet.
Look, now is the time too. That's the bad thing but you can't buy them. So I have even a friend that's looking for a Quest, and I look all the time on there, and they're just still sold out. Best Buy, Oculus Store, they're all sold out. So it's tough. Yeah. And I do kind of want to get into that. Can I get into that a little bit with the Quest? Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and I do. We did pay the ferries, PD.
Yeah, I saw Paradise Decay. To graffiti the place. We need. I don't think there's. Did anybody find that Easter egg yet in Half Life where it has the Rendered Reality logo? We can't say too much. We can't say too much. I haven't seen any videos of people finding that yet, so we'll let people find that in there.
Yep. I do recommend feeding the little guy in the jar in the beginning though. So, yeah. But anyway, and that's an achievement too.
Yeah, I gotta go back in there and get that one because I tried it. I don't think I sprinkled it enough.
We did say a lot. No spoilers. I don't think we had any spoilers.
We showed like maybe the first 20 minutes of gameplay in the background, but nothing too crazy. Yep. So go ahead and get into Quest a little bit.
So obviously, I wanted to be a fanboy when the game first came out. We didn't want to stream anything. We didn't want to have any spoilers. So I got it in on the index. Obviously, it's what it was built for. I mean, and not essentially, because it does work with everything, but it's my favorite headset. So ran it on there, played it for, I forget. I don't have a ton of hours in. I think I'm at 5 or 6.
I think you're at like maybe 7 something hours.
It might be 7. I don't know. So I've played it on that basically from start to where I'm at. And I'm at the train part. I'll just say that. No spoilers. So a little past. And I'm like, okay, runs great, runs butter smooth on Ultra, but I'm running on a 2080, RTX. Pretty stout computer. So it's unfair to really nitpick the graphics and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I got a spare VR PC that's got a 1060 3 gig in it.
3 gig, not 6 gig, 3 gig.
3 gig, right. Yeah. The lowest 1060.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, let's try it with that and the Quest, because, how does it run on a budget PC setup and a budget headset? And honestly, I plugged it in, started the game up, it put it on low graphics setting, auto to low. And I'm like, I still don't buy it. The Source 2 with all their textures and stuff running great. I bumped it up, set it on high, started the game, didn't have one glitch running it. And graphics looked incredible. The only thing I will say, the only big difference to me was the field of view, which is obvious. I mean, we know that it's a big difference in the Quest and the Index, and the distance, because it is a lot clearer and a lot higher pixels in the Index. So I could see a lot farther and I could see a lot broader. So I felt like it was a much more grand experience, I guess to say.
Yeah, and audio. I mean,
yeah, and the audio,
the
right?
Audio is fantastic, but
honestly, I have a good set of headphones. I throw those on if I'm playing a game on the Quest and stuff, and I really don't have an issue with that. I don't mind over-ear headphones. But yes, you're right, the audio too. But as a PC setup with a 1060 and a Quest, it ran unbelievably.
right. And you're using the official link cable, or what are you using? What were you using?
The official link cable, and I do have a USB-C port on the back of my motherboard that I was running off of. So, and that did work. But there are other cables. I think the Quest Go one is USB.
Quest VR.
So,
yeah, there's a bunch of options now. But I mean, that just attests to how well optimized this game really is, which blows my mind because of how graphically intense the game. There's tons of assets, and textures. I mean, the game is packed full. And you were running it on a 1063 gig. I think somebody else said, I think Jason said in our Discord that he was running it on a 1050 Ti.
Right. That's what he developed.
I mean, there's games that don't look anywhere near this good that I can barely run on a 1063 gig on my old PC. True, Like, I mean, that's old technology now. And
my hard drive that it was installed on is the slowest thing. I don't know what's wrong with it. Something didn't defragment. I don't know what, but it's so slow, and it ran fine off of it. I couldn't believe it. I thought it would bottleneck off that. Did not at all.
Crazy. So I played this game almost all the way through on the Index. I played, I think I got to around like 9 hours or so.
Sure.
And the day before I was playing a bunch on the Index. My Index controllers, I never recharged them. I totally forgot. So I got in playing. I was playing 35, 45 minutes, and then my one Index controller shut off and it died. I was like, crap. So I was like, well, I'm not ready to be done. So I popped on the Rift S and I went back in. And usually I switch back and forth between Rift S, Quest, Index, all that stuff. I switch back and forth pretty often. Well, in this, I was playing hours and hours and hours on the Index. So when I swapped back to the Rift S, I really did notice that field of view drop. Like, normally it's not that big of a difference to me. Like, you see it, but it's not mind-blowing in a sense. But when I went back to the Rift S after playing so long on the Index, I was really like, man, this is not good. Like, I don't love this field of view. And the audio, because I didn't have the Mantis or anything on the Rift S at the time. I was just using the built-in audio, and it's a big difference. It really is.
It is, especially in like an open world game where you can see far and there's so much detail, and it really proves how much of a difference the headset is. But it's not a necessity.
No,
I guess
it's
is
not.
my point.
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
There's no need to go out and buy an Index if you have a Rift S, if you have a Quest. I mean, it's a great upgrade, but for $1,000, it's still a tough trigger.
There was one other thing I noticed about using the Rift S that compared to the Index is I couldn't crush the cans anymore.
I know, yeah, I did notice that too. I was going to say that.
And I don't think this is a spoiler, but there's some grenades that you squeeze in the game, and with the Index controllers, with cans and all that stuff, you actually just squeeze the controller, and that's all you do. With the Rift S, you couldn't squeeze the cans at all, and for the other type of grenades, you had to hit a button and stuff. So it was a little bit weird, but I mean, overall, the game, I mean, if you haven't picked up this game, you got to pick it up and you got to play it. I mean, hands down, this game has literally changed VR as we know it, in my opinion. I mean, it has set the bar 10 times higher. The experience is just out of this world.
And it's worth, if you have a Quest, it is worth buying a cheap VR PC or doing. I mean, it really is. This is the one game that I feel is worth upgrading or moving on to PC VR for. It really is.
So Steve XM said you can crush the cans on Rift S. I'm not sure how. I didn't seem to be able to crush them, but I'm not sure.
I didn't either. Yeah, I couldn't either on the Quest.
But I didn't really spend much time trying either.
With the B button. With the button.
Okay, yeah, I didn't try that. So I guess you can. It's not the same feeling though. Like I mean, I literally could hold the can and just squeeze it and crush it in my hands.
Cool.
That's
and
different.
It's not like unsqueezed and crushed. It's like all the way in between. Like the harder you squeeze, the more crushed it gets, which is a really cool feeling.
It's fantastic. The game's super creepy though. I mean, it gets creepy. But I mean, it does it well. And honestly,
I don't know though. I don't feel like it's a horror game. Though.
It's not a horror game, no, but it's creepy. I mean, when you get later in the game, it's creepy. I mean, it's definitely intense.
That's
I mean, there's no doubt about it. But it's not a horror game. There's again, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin anything. Right. But I loved the game. Like, I mean, just getting through the game. There's a lot of of puzzles and stuff. The puzzles, some of them are a little bit difficult, but none of them are so hard that I got too frustrated and just wanted to put it down. You know what I mean? I would just keep grinding it out, and eventually I'd be like, okay, this is like, I mean, it's just, the puzzles make sense, if you can say that, because the puzzles make enough sense that even if you don't know what they want you to do, you can figure it out. And
it's not like a game to figure it out than it is like, I don't know what I'm doing here. It is.
I just loved it. I mean, I thought like I mean, there's been a lot of VR games that I really, really liked, but I think this one has just, I mean, I couldn't stay away from it. Like, I mean, and I was kind of lucky because this week with everything going on in the world, you know, I had a little bit of extra time that I could devote to just playing this game. But when I wasn't playing it, all I could think about was how I wanted to get back into it. I thought about that last place I was at in the game, and I just wanted to jump back in and continue it. It's just fantastic. I mean, they did a really, really good job, and I know people said, you know, they need to get, you know, the Source 2 stuff out there, and we talked a little bit about the modding community and what they can do with this.
Hammer, I can't wait, man. Yeah. When Hammer comes out, I really want to jump into Source 2. I really do. And if you guys don't know, Hammer is their modding tool for Half Life Alyx, and essentially they're going to open it up to the community to mod maps. To what extent, we don't really know yet. It may just be some level design. I don't think they're opening it up to like gameplay, developing like any open gameplay. I wish they would. I hope they do. But from what I know, it's just level design. So I'm curious how they're going to handle that. You know, if you can download them or if they're going to have like a community. Not sure, but
so Les Marwick said it's horror enough for me. I'm only halfway through, and I hear the second half is scarier. So I mean, it is. I mean, it's not a horror game, but it's enough for me too. I'm not a big horror buff. Like, I mean, horror games in VR freak me out pretty bad. I have a love-hate relationship because they're the most realistic thing in VR you can possibly do, because that fear sets in and it's just a whole nother. It just puts you on a whole nother level. So I have a love-hate relationship for horror. I agree, this game is enough horror for me. Like, it's the perfect mix of a kind of horror genre to just puzzle and adventure, the searching. I do wish it had some more melee attack stuff, kind of like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I think Walking Dead Saints and Sinners did melee so good. I wish that would have been in Half Life Alyx. I wish they would have put some more of that in there. I mean, they really don't have much melee, but I mean, that is one thing. I think it was a missed opportunity. I think that they could have, and I don't know. I've heard people say that they think they're playing it safe. Like, it makes the game a little bit more dangerous for your hardware, for, you know, your environment, for newbies, for people that are entering into your space that don't realize. I mean, if you're, you know, swinging things full force, I mean, that could be a little bit more dangerous. So maybe they played it a little bit safe in that area to. But at the same time, I wish it would have been in there, but I mean, it didn't really take away from the game. I still feel like the game was so fantastic that it would have been a nice little addition, but it's just so good. And I did throw some mug shots up here on the TV. We didn't have anything up here playing, so these are some mug shots recently from our Discord. So,
got that charging stand. That's a serious library there.
Yeah,
Limba has. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Some pretty cool pictures actually. We haven't done some mug shots in a little while, so there were over 500,000 copies of this sold of Half-Life Alyx in the first day or something like that. I think it was. I can't remember, but
I know the amount of people watching on Twitch.
Oh, it was insane.
Million people watching on Twitch.
I mean, it was higher than a ton of flat stuff. I mean, it was so high up in the rankings that it's not normal for VR to be getting this kind of exposure.
You got to think, you know, if all these people are watching on Twitch, probably the majority, 90% of them probably don't have VR, or else they would probably be playing it unless they're at work or something and want to watch, and that's fine. But if every one of those people bought VR from seeing Alyx, could you imagine how many people could be coming to VR? New players, new people in the community. I mean, it could be huge. And I think it will be, and I think it's coming.
If not, they're going to hate their life because they're going to be playing Half-Life Alyx like this. Which looks terrible.
To me. This is a
joke. So terrible.
This is just a joke.
So there are some people that have been working on some workarounds and stuff to be able to play Half-Life Alyx on flat, and it's coming eventually full blown. I'm sure somebody's gonna have it to where you can fully play, but I mean, it's just, this game wasn't built to be played flat. The things that you experience in this game, you're never gonna get playing on a flat screen. Like, it just does not translate. You know, I mean, it'd be different if this game was built for a flat environment, a flat,
Right.
game world, and then it was ported to VR. That's not how this game was made. This game was made to be played in VR. It was catered to be played in VR, and they did a fantastic job. So watching just some of this, quick clips of playing flat, it's not going to do the game justice. Like, save yourself the time from modding this game to play flat and just go buy a VR headset. It's going to be the best thing you could ever do. I mean, really.
I agree. It just doesn't even look the same. It doesn't even have the same feels when you can't reach out and pick. I mean,
even right here, when you're standing on this balcony and there's all these things to interact with, and you're looking over into this vast world that just blows your mind right out of the gate, right in the beginning of the game. And then, like, even people said in chat, I know Paradise Decay in one of his videos, he threw something off the edge and he hit a cat. I know somebody else was playing and threw something over and hit like somebody that was walking down on the street. I mean, you can't do these things it's just not the same.
The paint cans, if you throw the paint cans in the game, the paint spills on the ground. So I was going in and getting the paint cans in the first lobby room area where your little pet thing is. And I was throwing them down on the streets at people, and the paint would hit and splatter and stuff all over.
Yeah. I see. There's even things like that I haven't done yet that I have. There's so many little things. And so I don't know, like, I think even those little things can almost be Easter eggs in the game. Like the cat that's over the edge and you can interact. I mean, there's so many little things like that. And I don't know of anything yet of any, like we talked about, rooms and stuff to be found that are, like Boneworks, talking about Boneworks, that had a lot of hidden stuff, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of hidden rooms you can get into, but there was also a lot of aspects in Boneworks that you can do that you can't really do as much in Half Life Alyx, like the climbing stuff. There's a lot of more climbable things in Boneworks.
But then there's a lot more detail and stuff. And so they each have their differences.
Right.
But I feel like the hidden stuff in Half Life Alyx is more hidden. It's more just a part of the world than it is in Boneworks, where you're like, okay, there's something out of whack there. I need to go look at that or do that.
Right.
I just feel like Half Life Alyx is a world you live in.
Right.
Instead of just playing through. That to me is just.
I'll be interested to see as this game's, it hasn't even been out for a week yet, as it's got some time out there and people have more time to explore, because right now, a lot of people are focused on just playing the game and experiencing it. So once that period is over and people really start diving into this game to look for Easter eggs and stuff, I am curious to see what's going to come out. And I'm going to jump back into it too. I mean, I've beat the game and it was fantastic, but I still want to go back in because I want to just have time to play and experience the things that are around and just not even worry about the gameplay anymore.
I will say, when I tried it on my Quest, I plugged it into another PC, so I had to re-download it and started games from scratch. And going through that, again, through the first part, I experienced a totally different game.
Yeah.
I did things that I didn't even notice going through the first time, like looking in windows and looking in, and there were people in this house or apartment, whatever it was. They looked over, saw me, and the lady comes over and pulls the shades down right in front of me.
I didn't,
and I'm like,
but I didn't
even do that the first time.
I didn't look in when I walked by. I just saw the shades move, and I was like, "Wait, what's going on over there?" So I went over there, and nothing else happened. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of little stuff like that, and that's just in the beginning.
I know.
But
every time I feel like it will definitely be a different experience, which is really cool.
Paradise Decay said he challenged us to do the achievement for the gnome vault of my own, and I believe that's the one where you have to take the one gnome statue and take it with you throughout the whole game, and you carry it the whole game, which would be terrible. And that was one thing that I did a lot in the game, because you didn't have much of an inventory system. You didn't have a backpack, so there was a lot of times where I wanted to take something with me and I didn't have anywhere to put it on, so I was constantly carrying it. If it was health pack or whatever, I was carrying it with me, getting to the section, throwing it down when I needed something, grabbing it again, moving on through the game.
Well, what about your wrist? Or some stuff doesn't.
But there was only one on each hand, so there's only one on each hand. So if you have one in there and you want an extra, so a lot of times I was just doing that depending on what. And I mean, there wasn't a backpack. So another thing I thought that was absolutely fantastic was this.
Oh yeah, I know.
So this is like a full-blown math lesson inside Half-Life Alyx with the markers, the dry erase markers on the glass. And I mean, this could be a game in itself because it works so good. I mean, like, you can see all this is hand done by this guy. I think he's a math teacher in VR, and it works fantastically. Like just the drawing and the writing on the boards and stuff, it works really, really good. So I mean, if you haven't watched this video and listened to it, it's pretty awesome what he did in here. And none of this stuff that he's he's writing up here makes any sense to me because I am not very good at math.
Oh,
I mean, it's a pretty complex thing. He writes all out. I mean, he has all the glass like covered, and it's pretty awesome. But
so good. I know. And there's a lot of people have been using it for the teaching and stuff. And I get it. I mean, it's such a world you can just live in. It's like, why not? It's not even built for this, but you can, because it all works that well.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, crazy.
I think it was, who said it? Paradise Decay, or Anakaze. Somebody said, I want Saints and Sinners developers to make a mod for Half Life Alyx. I think it was Paradise Decay, which, man, that would be fantastic if they made a mod. Like, I would love to see what happens, if the modding community gets involved and things start to open up with this. It's going to be, and Gaming Science Teacher, I did see something about that. She said that she actually taught from VR this week, inside immersed with 2 nice big virtual screens, which is, I mean, this is the future. This is the future. It really is. So, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So cool.
It is. And now everyone is. I mean, people are like, oh yeah, we use Zoom and stuff for, getting with people and doing this. And to us, it's not that foreign, but to all these people, it's the first time they've heard of even doing, multiple people stuff or being in with people or teaching from VR. We did, I don't know, I'm going to go way back now. See, it was Altspace, and the first time they opened up the painting, remember when you could do the painting? And we started talking with a guy who was a graphic artist for, I forget, Pepsi or Cola or something like that.
Yeah.
He did all the graphics for their emails and stuff. So we're like, well, let's see what you can draw and stuff. And I think we stood there for a good hour, and people were just coming into Altspace.
He had an audience. Yeah, like it was just us kind of talk to him, and then as he was going, there was a whole crowd of people that had gathered just watching what he was doing and like the painting stuff in Altspace, which was probably in 2016.
Then on, I knew that, I mean, you could use it for teaching or demoing things or showcasing things. And I think there was another guy in there too we became friends with that said that that's what he wanted to do from seeing all that is start teaching and stuff from VR. And I get it. It's that simple. I mean, you're just living it. So why not?
So James Davis said, I've been stressed working retail night stocking at Kroger. I'm hesitant to buy Half-Life Alyx or play VR, which I think, honestly, if you're stressed all these times, this is a great outlet, I think. I mean, it really is for me. I mean, it's really a good way to just get your mind off of what's going on in the world right now and get with people, just VR in general. You can hang out with people and stuff. I mean, I highly recommend it. I think it's something that is very useful in these times now, almost more than ever. So
it is. But even to be, hesitant to even just play VR, it is, it's an odd concept, if you don't have VR, haven't done it, it's an odd concept to actually recognize because it is something you've never done or never experienced. And we've talked about before, you had a friend who said games make him sick and wouldn't play, tried VR for the first time. And he said, oh my gosh, this is the first I've done something and never felt motion sick because you are doing that 1-to-1 ratio.
And obviously we put him in something that wasn't motion sick. Yeah, that wasn't going to make him motion sick to begin with. But, he was just scared in general because just regular flat games, he said he doesn't like to play because it messes with him and stuff. So, he was...
And it's hard, to jump into something where you have full motion and stuff like this. But, Half-Life Alyx, it still has teleport.
Yeah, so it caters well to what you need.
It does. So it would work really well for a first-time game as long as you're, open to trying it and stuff. And you do get your VR legs. Trust us. We've all been there. I think everybody in chat has been there. I said I would never get it, and I did in Minecraft. The first time I played Minecraft, I got it. I don't know why, but it did. But everyone gets it at a point, I'm sure, starting out. So, but yes, don't be afraid of it. It's a lot of fun. It will change your world.
Yeah. Les Marwick said the Alyx world makes the real world look pretty good. So even though the real world's looking pretty grim right now, it does help make it look pretty good. But one thing I wanted to mention was that, I spent a lot of time in Half-Life Alyx this week, a lot of, long play sessions, which has been awesome. But one of the things that I experienced and I haven't experienced in a while is some crazy vivid dreams after the amount of hours that I've played. And it wasn't even dreams related to Half-Life Alyx. It was just really crazy vivid dreams because a lot of times I was playing this for hours, before going to bed. And I talked about it a little bit, I think, in Anthony's chat, and some other people were saying the same thing because I've spent a decent amount of time playing Boneworks and Saints and Sinners and stuff, but this one was like a lot of long play sessions back to back to back, and it just really, it's caused some pretty crazy. Vivid Dreams is pretty wild. I'm just curious to see if anybody else has noticed that too. But yeah,
So how do you not know this stuff? This stuff's not that complicated. Come on.
I'm not good at math. I don't know. I'm sure it's probably not that complicated if I actually like watched and listened to the whole thing through. I didn't do that, but just looking at it, it looks pretty complicated. So
yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brummy in chat said Boneworks made me so sick. And I've had VR since DK2. And see, Boneworks to me, it didn't make me sick, but I'm not as big a fan as their physics as some people were. I don't know. I feel like the physics here in Half Life Alyx are perfect.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't have everything. I know we don't have holsters and on and on and on. But, as PD was saying in chat, and we talked about this on our last episode we did, it's designed for people coming into VR like we were just talking about as well. So I think it does a good job, as, more of us veterans playing, it's amazing. And people coming in, it's still going to be amazing. And that's a hard thing to do in VR.
Yeah, and that's like what
really
PD said. A lot of Half-Life was designed for the intent of new VR players. I mean, when originally this game was teleport only, it wasn't until later that they added, the free locomotion. So, I mean, they did a fantastic job. And I agree, like Boneworks, I have a love-hate relationship. I've said this before because I love having a full-body kinematics. But at the same time, in Boneworks, I was often getting stuck on things, and that was taking me out of the immersion, arms and everything getting stuck on stuff. But
I agree.
And Paradise Decay said that he also has more vivid dreams after VR. He said most noticeably for him, they are in 3D. So his dreams are in 3D. So I guess I never really thought that much about it. I feel like my dreams are usually in 3D, but I guess I don't really know. I guess I never really thought about it. I don't know. It's kind of a weird. I don't
dream much, though.
I'll have to pay attention to my dreams next time to see if they're 3D or not. But I've been dreaming a lot this week. It's been awesome. I like dreams.
It probably is from playing this, doing something totally out of this world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's the scenes in this, the experiences. You have to try it.
Yeah, have to try it. Fantastic game. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite. I mean, what's your favorite game right now out of anything you can play? Is it Half Life Alyx or not?
Yeah, it's Half Life Alyx for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Do I still pick up other stuff? Do I still pick up Pistol Whip? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the game. I mean, it's not the end all be all. I'm never going to play anything else for sure. But I mean, the hype is still there for me. I thought the game was just fantastic. It did so many things right and so many things good, and just graphically was absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, for me right now, I can say this is, I mean, as far as I can see, this is going to be a hard game to beat for Game of the Year 2020. I don't know how.
Absolutely.
I don't know how anybody's really going to be able to do that, but I still like the multiplayer, VR shooter games. That's still what I really like. I mean, I haven't been playing them as much lately, but I mean, if we can get a modder or something that does some kind of co-op in this, or somehow get co-op out of Half-Life Alyx, oh my goodness, it'd be so awesome.
So do you think this game actually has a chance for running of Game of the Year, period?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
The only reason I don't think it would make it is because of the flat game
popularity.
Yeah, the haters of, the flat gaming world that still haven't tried VR for themselves or whatever it is. There's plenty of people that are still hating on VR, but I mean, how could any flat game possibly beat this? I don't see how it could. I don't see, unless it's coming from somebody that is a flat gamer that has never tried VR, that's never played this, then they're going to say nobody cares about this. But obviously a lot of people care about this. You see the numbers that happened on Monday and stuff. It's still happening. The number of players, I mean, the people in Steam playing this game, the amount of people watching, streaming it, it's,
what was it, 45,000 simultaneous players?
Yeah, it was something
like
insane.
I should look again, but
I can't remember.
I know it was nuts. It really is. And I get it. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch it. I wanted to play it, and we literally took off work, to play it. So I get it. Yeah, it's got 10,000 right now playing.
Yeah. So Brummy Dino said that he wishes they would add sprint. And I agree. I would like a slight sprint. I did use, because even in free locomotion, you can use the teleport. Sometimes when I needed to get away quick, I did use that. I can't remember who said it now. I was reading something somewhere that somebody was saying about that the one thing about the sprint in Half-Life Alyx is if it had the sprint, it would almost make some of the really intense encounters a little less intense because you could quickly get away. When you can't move real quick.
You'd miss stuff.
Yeah, when you can't move real quick, your senses are heightened because you're more like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here, but I can't move fast. I mean, I would welcome a little bit of a sprint at least, nothing crazy. Anakaze said, I think basically Boneworks needs to increase its damping on climbing and heavy objects, which I think Boneworks did so many things right, but I still think it needs some tweaks. I agree. I think it needs some tweaks to really be at the level that I think they thought it was going to be at. I mean, I remember their claims of this game was going to have hundreds of millions of views on YouTube. Like they said, when this game comes out, talking about Boneworks, they said that you will see gamers and streamers getting hundreds of millions of views on Boneworks videos. That never happened. I've never seen that happen, at least. So I think it's an excellent game. Don't get me wrong. I love Boneworks, but I think it still needs some tweaking on to make it perfect, in my opinion.
I get it. I know. It's coming. I mean, wait till the big, gamers get in and play it and stuff and try it. The big streamers that are only flat. This could be the one game where they,
I would love to see. I would love to see the numbers, and I would love to hear from somebody that has never played VR, maybe a VR hater that's been a flat gamer that got into VR just for Half Life Alyx, and it was the first game they ever played. I would have, loved to see that reaction when they first went into that game to see what they thought. I don't know if there's any videos out there like that. If there is, let us know. But
so people are still saying that they didn't get the notifications. Fletcher St. Germain said he didn't get it. So we do recommend hitting the bell. That is the only way now to get our notifications.
And hopefully they fix it soon. My theory is that because it's not just us, it's a lot of the smaller channels and stuff, that their stuff isn't, because I've seen other people that I was like, I didn't even know they were live. Like I never saw anything that said they were live. And my theory is that with all this stuff going on, all these people using Zoom and Skype and all this other stuff, tons more bandwidth and internet is being used. My theory is that they're limiting some of the stuff for the smaller people to help free up some of the airwaves. But I don't know if that's true. That's just my theory, because it all happened right around that time. That was when it started going, kind of crazy. But that's just my theory. I have no idea.
VR Spry guy said if the show wasn't on, there'd be 10,000 people playing.
It'd be crazy to see 10,000 people in chat. That'd be nuts. I don't see that ever happening.
So PD said there's a tweet going around how to change the movement speed in Steam VR. And I'm assuming it's probably with the calibration for buttons.
Like the bindings and stuff?
Steam VR, the bindings. I would assume that's probably what it is. But I don't really feel the need to. I like to enjoy this game so much that even if I have to go across, a large area, I don't really want to rush it. I really don't.
I agree.
So I don't find myself needing to.
James Davis said, okay, the words of encouragement from you all got me to just now buy Half Life Alyx, which is pretty awesome. It's a must-have, in my opinion.
It is. If it's the one game you're going to invest in this year that is, a larger chunk of change, what we've seen compared to a lot of VR games, it's well worth it. It's worth the cost of admission all day.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we do have some other stuff to get into.
Yes, we do.
It's hard to not talk about Half-Life Alyx nonstop, but I know a lot of people also can't play this, so I understand that. I did want to mention real quick, last episode, I think we talked about Box VR, and that, if you don't know, that's one of me and my wife's favorite games. We play that every morning almost.
My wife's too. Yep.
Yeah, so there was supposed to be the Essentials pack that came out on the 26th, I believe, which was last Thursday. So that date came around, and we were excited. We were looking for it. It's like an hour's worth of new songs and all kinds of stuff in that Essentials pack. It is going to be a paid Essentials pack. It's $9.99 US. I was in contact with them, and they said that there is an issue because you can't download it right now, and it was an issue on Oculus's end. And so they said it's an issue affecting the Oculus store. We were unable to launch the Essentials pack as planned. Oculus has yet to be to give us feedback on a time frame of when the issue will be resolved, and so we can't give guidance at this point and when we will be able to release the Essentials pack. It should hopefully be soon, though. So if we talked about that and you were looking for that, that is what happened and why it is not up there. I did want to mention that me and my wife get on almost every morning, real early though. It's usually between like 5:30, 6 a.m. Eastern time. We go into a multiplayer thing where you battle through score, basically. And I believe you can have up to 6 people on there. So if anybody ever wants to jump in with us at like 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, we're pretty much the only one that's up there that is a multiplayer thing. There's usually nobody else. So if there's one up there, it's probably us. The only problem is I think once we jump in, then you can't join. You have to join right in the beginning. So maybe we'll leave it up there for like 5 minutes or stuff. So if anybody ever wants to work out with us in the morning, I'm just throwing that out there. Feel free to jump in. I've been doing a lot better. My wife has not been kicking my butt as much anymore. I don't miss as many notes, so I keep my multiplier going. So But yeah, if you ever want to, feel free. It's really a lot of fun, honestly. It's a great workout, especially some of the more intense time frames and stuff and the music. So, I mean, you're moving a lot.
So when I was on vacation, I actually took my Quest with me, and I had family and stuff trying it. And I put them in Box VR and Pistol Whip, just easy games. You know, you don't have to learn a lot of controls and stuff. And they loved it. They really did. And I totally get it. Their Box VR is just a simple, well done game. And Pistol Whip is, you know, easy. You don't have to know a lot of controls. It's a trigger pull, so and only one controller, so
it's a lot of
helps.
Fun. I really like.
Yeah, Box VR is a great game.
I mean, especially in these times with a lot of gyms and stuff being closed, it's fantastic to be able to do some workouts and stuff like this at home. And you can go, you know, for 30 minutes to an hour in VR working out, and it doesn't feel like any time at all because you're having fun, you're enjoying it. You know, it's just it's a blast. But so let's talk about.
Well, so Conrad Lawrence just said unsub and resub with notifications on. It's not a bad idea. That might work too. I need to try that on my personal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Curious to see if that works. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep. Okay, sorry.
Let's get into this HP headset. Like, what the heck is going on with that?
Well, I mean, I'm excited, I think. Right? I don't know because we don't have any like real solid info on it, but I'm excited for the team of developers that have, you know, created this. And I think that's what's most exciting about me. For me, I'm sorry, is who is working on it and worked on together. So I think this could be a great headset. My only thing is controllers. I just need an answer with controllers. Yeah. I think if I knew something with controllers, I would be all in already for it.
Yeah. So the thing that is so interesting is, as you can see, I mean, this video clip came out the same day that Half Life Alyx released. So a lot of people didn't notice this because everything you saw was Half Life Alyx. So this kind of slipped under the radar a little bit. But this is through HP, Microsoft, and Steam. And I don't know. I mean, we don't have much info about this. We don't really know anything. You get a little bit of an image. What I'm going to do is I have this video clip brightened up a little bit. It's not going to look very good, but if you brighten this image up or the video up a little bit, it actually looks like on the front. When I first saw this, I was like, okay, it still has 2 Windows Mixed Reality cameras in the front.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's kind of a bummer. You know, they need to at least get more cameras or something. Well, they're teamed up with Steam VR, Valve. If you look at the image that's brightened up, it actually almost looks like those 2, what would be cameras, actually looks like the indents from what they use for Steam VR tracking that you see, you know, on the HTC Vive and the Vive tracker pucks and all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
So I hope. I mean, I personally like the 2.0 tracking. That's just
the base station tracking, outside.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing if you have, you know, a good way to set it up. I get it's not as convenient and stuff, but I feel like it does the best job.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to give you the best tracking. I mean, inside-out tracking that we see in Quest and Rift S is fantastic. They did a really good job on that tracking, and it works really well, but it's still not as perfect in every scenario as the outside-in tracking is, but...
Yeah. So, you know, and I see PD said something about the headphones, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about too.
That looks like Index, right?
It does.
It looks like Index headphones, especially in this brightened up video. So this video is brightened up. I don't know. That looks a lot like them to that video.
It just doesn't. I'm looking at my Index here, and it just doesn't have that one maybe little bump out above the earphones. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that. I got mine sitting right here too.
It looks a little more straight there, unless
but it's not going to be the exact same headphones. You know what I mean? It's just the same design. Maybe if they're working with Valve on this, maybe they gave them the ability to use the drivers and stuff. I mean, the housing might be a little bit different, but that to me, that looks like. I mean, even the bump out from where the speaker driver kind of bumps out from the side, that looks the same on there. I mean, that looks like Index.
So, you know, I'm watching chat and stuff too, and people are saying things about, you know, Xbox and, you know, what about Xbox because of Microsoft and stuff, obviously. So by them using in dealing with Valve and Steam itself, they really wouldn't have anything left to go back to Microsoft, right? I mean, where is the WMR in this whole thing? Because the only thing that kept WMR was their software and the controllers, right? And their proprietary tracking. So what is left then if they switched over to using Steam VR maybe in their tracking? What does Microsoft have to do with it other than maybe working with Xbox?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that the software that they're going to run on the new Xbox is the same mirrored software that the new Windows and stuff is also running in their core, you know, UI. So is it now going to be all cross-compatible like we have talked about and they should have done with the original WMR? I hope so.
Yeah. It's weird. It is weird.
I really do.
And honestly, I don't know for sure from looking at the image. I mean, that could still be cameras. There's still, I mean, the image,
Right.
you know, was very dark and everything on purpose. They made it dark to where you couldn't barely see it on purpose. And, you know, this could just be a prototype where the actual cameras aren't in those holes yet. I don't know. But to me, just looking at it through that, it doesn't look like there's cameras in there right now.
Well, it doesn't, to me, whether that's cameras or not, it doesn't look to be any other cameras. So they're not going to have a new tracking system with 2 cameras. There's no way. There's nothing on top. There doesn't look to be anything on the sides. So they have to be using base station tracking.
I would think so. And why else team up with Steam VR? I mean, so
what else do they need from Steam, basically?
Right. I mean, because even the Windows mixed reality headsets before, they still work on Steam VR, and that wasn't a collaboration between Microsoft and Steam. They just, Steam, you know, will let pretty much any headset play that wants to play. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very interested in this. I mean, how cool would that be if this was, you know, an HP Reverb G2, they're calling it, I believe, that used Steam VR tracking, so used inside out or outside in tracking. That was perfect tracking. They updated the controllers. Maybe it works with any Steam controller. Maybe it works with Index controllers.
Index headphones built into it.
Yeah,
everything we've basically been saying. Great screens, you know, from the Reverb. Even if they use just the Reverb screens, I'm good with that. They don't need to be higher than that. They really don't. So that could be the be-all, end-all headset. I mean, it really could be.
The only thing is it doesn't look like a wider field of view to me, though. I mean, unless they're using like the canted lenses and stuff like they did on the Index, because from there, the outline of the headset still looks very similar to the Reverb size-wise.
It does.
But I think the Reverb, though, was a little bit bump up in field of view. I'm not okay. Everything needs higher field of view. Everything needs to go that route.
I agree. I think it does eventually, but you got to look at the price point, too. You know, if you're going to extend that price point now way out there and you don't get it in the hands of as many people, I know, trust me, I wish everything was better and keeps progressing. But at the same time, mass adoption is also a better thing for everybody in VR. So, you know, if they can get that price point down, use the already created technology that Valve has been using for the Index, use their perfect tracking, I think is perfect, and the ability to use any controllers that you already have. You may have wands, you may have knuckles, you can already use them. Just buy the headset then. I have said that I think that's the way VR needs to go.
Yeah,
that everything is interchangeable and you can buy a headset, use it with any controllers. I really think that that's the way it should be.
I mean, we don't know. Obviously, it's all speculation. They really didn't give out any information, really, other than a little teaser video that showed you nothing. But, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Skiva said they could just be using the audio solution, like from the Index. And, I mean, it could be. Maybe it's just a Reverb with Index audio.
I don't think. I don't think that they would team up with Valve to just use their headphones. I think they would be using their tracking as well, because we know that the WMR stuff sucked for that, comparing it, you know, to especially the 2.0 base stations, even the first gen. But yeah, I really hope, I even hope honestly, I would hope they would just take the whole head strap from the Index and plop it onto that. That would be the dream for me too, because even the comfort is incredible with the Index, and it does look like it. That top strap even resembles the same as it does on the Index. So that's kind of crazy. But I mean, that's almost, I mean, if they're teaming with Valve and stuff, wouldn't that kind of put a little bit of a hurting on an Index depending on price and stuff? Like, but I mean, they can't keep them in stock anyways. I don't know. It's weird to me. No, because if it does have that lower field of view, you know, it's not trying to up the Index. It's just trying to hit a market. You know, maybe this thing comes out and it's the same as, you know, the Cosmos or Vive Pro, and, you know, coming in at $700 or $800, a little under, and you still get an amazing headset without the field of view, then I think that's a good price point. I do.
Yeah, and maybe it might still be Windows mixed reality, but it might still work with Steam VR tracking. It might do both. I don't know. I have no idea. But either way, I'm excited to get some more information about this. I mean, I wasn't expecting much hardware this year, but so far, you know, we've gotten the Oculus Del Mar hints, which we don't know if that's a Quest. We don't know if that's a Go. We don't know what that is. But now we're getting the HP stuff, so I'm pretty excited.
That, honestly, when I look at the back of my head strap and what the shadow is on the back side of that head strap, it really looks to be the same. It really does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really
we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. But also, there's a pretty cool way now to get your cell phone into VR. And I know that somebody else has done this in the past, but it was pretty clunky and it never really caught on. But there is a company, and they're their product is called Holoswitch, and this is available now on Steam.
Yep.
This is on Steam now, and basically this is a companion app that you download through Steam and you download on your phone, and it's still in beta. It is not a finished product yet, but it is available, and we haven't tried it yet. I am interested to try. I think it's like $5 or $6.
$5.99, I think.
Yeah. And so what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to bring up your cell phone notifications in VR. It's supposed to be able to make calls, see your missed calls, basically be able to control your phone while in VR and see everything that is happening. And it even has it to where it'll use your phone as a security camera. So it'll use the camera on your phone, and then you can point that or whatever. However, if you put it up on something to watch a door, I don't know, but then it puts that into the headset to see, which is kind of neat. I thought this was pretty interesting.
It is, and we've been saying that there needed to be something like this for a while now,
Yeah.
so it's really nice to see.
Yeah.
Especially for like long play sessions and Half Life Alyx and stuff.
Yeah,
because,
Half Life. I mean, it's perfect time for something like this. So what they said, this is available now in early access. Holoswitch is a mobile app for Steam VR. So this is for Steam VR, and right now I believe it only works with Android. The Apple version is coming. It lets you interact with your smartphone without having to take off your VR headset. By pairing your smartphone to your computer via the PC client, you can forward calls, text messages, and important app notifications directly into your headset, allowing you to interact with the outside world without breaking immersion. You can even view your real-world environment at any time by using your smartphone as a surveillance camera.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Pretty cool feature. I never thought about that one.
The only thing, and I'm going to get into the whole privacy thing here, is you are now hosting access to your cell phone.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong with this, because I don't feel that they would, but I
mean, the thing is, though, with anything on your cell phone, you're giving full permissions for pretty much anything. Any app you download on your phone, you're giving them permission to, have access to your photos, your contacts, pretty much everything. So, yeah, but I agree, it's a little scary.
It is, but I mean, yeah, at a point, I know how far can you go with it all, or work. But yeah, you're right. Everything we have on our phones, every app there is, gives them access. So
yeah, but they have even more hopes for this thing. So they're saying upon the game's full release, the company hopes to include several additional features, including phone mirroring, direct video calls in VR, speech-to-text functionality, keyboardless typing, and live streaming. So I'm not sure how the live streaming would work, if that's... I don't know, but supposedly you're going to be able to live stream from it too. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but I thought it was interesting. We've been talking about a solution like this that VR has needed for a while. So if this works good now and they can work all the kinks out of it and keep adding to it, I don't know what you're laughing at. I'm sure something from chat.
Yeah, somebody in chat said, imagine getting a video call in VR and they get a view of you in game during it. You call somebody, they pick up and they're in the middle of the battlefield or something, like a video like call, but you're seeing the background of what they're in VR.
Like almost like using like a live client to where something like, how cool would that be? That would be, people would be freaking out. You answer and it looks like you're in this environment of Half Life Alyx.
Like you're over here shooting something like, hold on a second, and you're just ripping somebody a new one. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. That would be I hope that is the future. I really do.
People would pass out if they answered like a video call and they thought you were somewhere like that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's so cool. But this is neat.
Studio too, it was, yeah.
Yeah, this is really neat. I mean, this is something that I think we've needed for a long time. So I'm hoping they can get all the kinks worked out and make this a proper solution to what
I do. Honestly, though, I do love it. I really do. I do enjoy the thought of this, and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, we'll have to try it out as long as you can give your okay with giving all this permissions to your.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with it. It's not me. I'm the last person to worry about privacy stuff. I mean, not the last, but I view it all as a grain of salt sometimes in a big beach.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I worry more about it, but it's sometimes just nothing you can't avoid it at this point in time. It is what it is.
Right. As long as you're smart. That's all.
It sucks in a way. But I did want to mention too, Iron Lights. We've talked about that a decent amount on our channel. We've had some interviews with the developer. We've had him on our show. Iron Lights did get a launch date of April 9th. So that is coming out April 9th, and it's going to be cross-buy and cross-play with Rift and Quest.
Everything needs to be cross-play. I mean, we have a smaller market now. It all needs to be. It just makes everything better.
So if you're excited for that game, it will be April 9th that it's released and able to be played. So it's a really cool
play mechanics.
Yeah, it really is cool.
Yeah.
It really is. So
it really impressed me. I mean, it's not one I would look at and go, because I'm not a 1v1 kind of guy, really. I just always feel like there's something being missed there.
I like
But
teamwork.
the strategy is so good in this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And you learn the strategies as you play too, which is really cool.
And if you want more information on that, check out our channel because we definitely have a couple different videos talking about that. And the first time I ever played it was with the developer, so he kind of gave me a little bit of insight on that. Also, I wanted to mention real quick Down the Rabbit Hole, because this came out, I think it was Thursday, and my wife has been loving this game. She actually beat it this morning while we were sitting here. We were getting ready for the show. My wife was sitting on a stool in the VR room over here playing this, and she beat it today. So she actually went back in because part of the game is to find all the invitations. So there's all these invitations that you have to find throughout the game, and she didn't have all of them. So you didn't have to have all of them to make it through the game, but she wanted to go back through and find the ones that she missed. And I mean, this game is fantastic. They did a really, really good job in VR. She was playing on the Quest. It runs great, looks awesome. I mean, it's just a narrated puzzle adventure game is really what it is. And there's a lot of, and even she said, some of the puzzles are kind of difficult, but they're not undoable, kind of like we talked about with Half-Life. Like you can figure them out, but some of them are a little bit challenging, but that's part of the fun,
Yep.
But
I agree. I really do want to get my wife in this now too.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about, being quarantined and stuff. And she said that hoping that we're going to play something here maybe tomorrow or this weekend together. But I would love her to sit down and try this at least too.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, they did a really good job on it. And my wife is not a gamer. She's really not. She has never been a gamer. I mean, she likes board games, card games, all that. She's never been, computer gamer, Xbox, PlayStation, none of that stuff. So really VR, getting her a headset, the main reason was because she likes Box VR. She likes the workout. She loves Box VR. She's put a ton of hours in Box VR. But, there's other games that she's liked. She's played Moss and stuff, and she liked it. But this game really sucked her in. And, I mean, she really enjoyed playing this game. And, I mean, I haven't seen her actually grab a headset to want, other than Box VR, to want to play a game.
Sit down and play.
Yeah, to sit, and she's done that. And she was playing this, I think, the day it came out when I was finishing up Half Life Alyx. So we were both in the VR room. She was over on the one side playing this. I was playing Half Life Alyx. But she said she wants the final achievement. I'm not sure what the final
I heard her say
is,
that when she got done. Yeah, that's funny. The gaming science teacher said she picked up The Room, which was another one that I wanted to mention too. It actually looks really good on Quest, which I think isn't this their like fourth release of The Room? I think they have different chapters type deal.
Yeah.
Pretty third or fourth, something like that. But this one is on the Quest, and it does look very impressive on the Quest.
Gaming science teacher, I know she's been into it. I know she's been enjoying it. She said something in one of the chats, and it looks really cool. This is another puzzle game, as far as I know. But this one looks a little bit more dark. Where Down the Rabbit Hole is a lot more cheery, colorful, fun. This is a little more dark, creepy.
But it does. It looks really good. It really does.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Love looking through that looking glass and seeing that. Kind of looks like our graffiti on the wall, actually behind us here. At least on your side.
It does, and I haven't played this one yet. I have not checked this one out, but it does look cool for the puzzle and stuff aspect of it. It looks really cool, but
the puzzles in Half-Life.
Yeah, I think you need to pick this one up. You need to check this one out. This looks definitely up your alley for sure.
I agree. So. I do like this one. Just on Quest. The stuff that's coming out on Quest now, man. They're really figuring out the optimization on it. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it really is. There's some fantastic stuff on Quest. One other thing we wanted to mention was this is from the guys, Starblazer guys, and they put out this, and this isn't released yet, but it's called Virus Popper, and it's basically an ode to what's going on in the world. I believe this is coming out on Steam. I believe it is going to be free.
Release 20 seconds.
I'm gonna turn up some volume.
Or at least free to everybody with COVID-19, right?
No. So basically, it's teaching you how to social distancing, washing your hands for the proper amount of time, killing some virus, disinfecting, cleaning. It's kind of a cool little thing they got going on here that I do want to hop into this and check this out.
This would be a really good thing to throw my nephew into.
Yeah.
Because, it's hard a lot of times for younger kids to understand, why and what it does. You can say, oh, it's a virus, but there's no physical, they don't know what it is. They can't tell what it is. Yeah. You don't see it. So it would be a really cool thing to visualize for kids.
Yeah.
I think
kind
that
of a
would
cool
be
little
amazing.
learning experience,
Yep. Really
looks pretty fun. I haven't tried it yet. I am going to jump into it, but I know they are going to be releasing hopefully pretty soon. I don't know the exact release date of when this is going to hit, but it's pretty cool for these times for sure. But
So we do have some word on, and I can't say what or who or anything, on a new game that they're working on, and I'm assuming they got a hold of us because of the type of games we like to play. But I guess all I can say about the moment is it's a story-driven, physics-based combat game. And they're working on it. It's still a little ways out, but we should hopefully have some bigger news to release for you guys here in the upcoming couple episodes and stuff, or shows or months, up into the point of release. So we are looking forward to that. It's definitely our cup of tea. So
for sure.
So we definitely are excited about that. But
that's all we can say. We're not allowed to say anything else.
Too bad, but I know it sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
But it is all I can say at the moment. But.
So what about this KupVR? What do you know about that?
Yeah. So honestly, I'd really like to try these. I think for the price of where these are at is really cool. And they do say that these are 6th off, which impresses me and looks interesting. What do you think? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. So this is on Kickstarter now.
Right.
I don't know what the price is to get in to actually get the.
It's so right now, I think at the time of the start of our show, there were 63 spots left for the $89 discount. And I think once those are filled, it goes up to 100 or 120, something like that. But for that amount of money, that's pretty good.
And I mean, basically what they're trying to do is an index style finger tracking. It says, but for $99 is what they're saying on here that it's going to actually sell for, I believe.
Right.
And it's saying Steam, Android.
Honestly, I think this is the perfect thing to pick up. Like if you have, let's say you have a headset and all you do is sim racing, but you want some controllers or, dabble in it. For this price, I think it's a great thing to have. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. But the thing for me is like for certain games, like you don't have a trigger. There's some weird things about a control schemes that I don't quite understand. Like things like Beat Saber would work really good. There's sword games would work really good.
Yep.
So there's definitely some games that would work fantastic. And then there's some other that don't
But as a whole,
it
might be tough.
Yeah.
I know.
So they're saying open your hands and reach out for KupVR, the new hand and finger tracking device that is affordable as no other. Because we believe everybody deserves to have virtual hands and interact in the digital world on a natural and intuitive way. We are not fond of buttons. We want a simple and open, natural experience with hand gestures and virtual hands. Hence, we have designed KupVR to be the compact and minimalist, freeing up your fingers to do more fun and interesting things in the digital world.
But I don't know. I don't see any buttons. Right?
That's what they're saying. That button free is what they're saying.
I know. So I just wish they could add like a couple analog buttons. And I get it may be a little more expensive, but it would at least allow you to play other games then, you know?
I mean, that's the thing. Like you don't have any thumbsticks. So how do you move? Like it has to be almost a game that's developed for this, or like a wave based sword game, stuff like that. So it is pretty limiting for the
but
price
it does
point
work with Steam
nice.
VR.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they I guess it would be on the developer then to adapt hand tracking, and some games already do have hand tracking that are working for the Quest and stuff. So there could be some ports. But
so somebody just said, Mepper said, I think this controller has a thin wire from your belt to the controllers, which I didn't even notice that. But when he said that, I looked up and it did look like in one of the scenes there was a little,
does it?
But I'm not sure. That seems weird to me. I hope that's not the case. But there is a piece that goes on your belt. There is like that piece there goes on your belt. If that's the case, that's really kind of strange. But
right. Yeah, I guess I didn't catch that.
Because in other things, in other clips, I don't see it.
Yeah,
in other clips, I don't see it. But I did see a little bit of a clip that looked like there was something. Maybe that's based on what platform you're using, maybe for a cell phone or something like that. Because it works with a cell phone.
It almost looked like there was a hue on the outline of the hand. Maybe it was that. I don't see it there.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't imagine that would be the case, but there was. Yeah, see, there it doesn't show it either. But there was one scene where it did kind of look like there was something on there that I saw, and it might have just been something weird. But
I don't see one, but I guess you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it's an interesting concept that people are working on this kind of stuff. I don't know, like Beat Saber, stuff like that. Some of it makes perfect sense. And there's other things that I'm like, I don't know. I mean, even with the Quest, you have hand tracking capabilities and then you have controller capabilities. So it's kind of a twofold almost controller in one, where depending on what you want to do with it, down the road, as we get more hand tracking things, you can kind of do both of these things in one. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Yeah, I don't see it either. I thought I saw it in one thing, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, hey, it's all good stuff, man. The more stuff we get developed, the better. Really is. Not that everything's going to be a winner, and we know that. But
so Mepper said he asked the project creators about the tracking, and maybe that's where he's getting the wire. So I'm not sure. But Anakaze said probably hand poses.
About magnetic tracking is what he was referring to.
Anakaze said probably hand poses translated to button presses for Steam VR, which could be as well.
Could be, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool concept. I mean, I like all new hardware stuff that's coming out. I like things to be. And there was another controller. I can't think of the name of it now that was pretty similar to this that we talked about.
Back. The gold one.
I can't think of what it's called now. But pretty similar idea and design to what this is, but I can't imagine that.
I think MRTV just did. Sebastian just did a video. I think on him.
On him. But pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff coming out there.
Yeah, I don't know. For the money, I really debate backing it. I mean, it's so cheap. It's like I want to try it just for $89.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time it comes out, I don't know their timeline and stuff, but we could have other stuff, out too. But depends on his timeline. But yeah,
right.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. So, what else you got that you want to get into today?
I think that was about it. Yeah. I mean, all I've been playing is Half Life myself.
It's hard,
and I want to get more time in, but we've had some good weather here, so I had to work outside in the yard here the last couple days.
I did mow my yard yesterday, but I am going to jump back into Half Life Alyx, and I will definitely be playing the new box VR once that Essentials pack comes out. I'm still looking forward to that. I mean, I really do like that game. I know it's not a super popular game at this point, but man, it is such a good workout game. I did want to mention too that I saw on Twitter. I don't know if I have the link now, but I saw that Oculus actually congratulated Valve for Half Life Alyx for pushing the pushing VR forward. I think it said something like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Or did they thank him for having the Oculus symbol in the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does work on Oculus stuff, no problem. So, yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was good that they congratulated him. I mean, they are obviously competitors, but... And I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird to me because Oculus has invested so much money into these big games and they've put out a lot of really, really big titles that we're super hyped for. But none of those titles got the kind of exposure that Half Life Alyx did on release date, But these were all new titles that were coming out that nobody had ever heard of. Half Life, that enterprise is something that is very well known. So I think that was the big difference maker. Not only did they do a fantastic job.
Well, and Valve carries that though. They carry that over time and they try and do that and they know they do that and they do that with intention. And it works very well for them. I mean, I would give anything for a Portal in VR. I mean, oh my gosh.
So.
It's literally one of my favorite games. So something like that, but they'll tease it, talk about it, won't talk about it, never do it. They'll do it. That's just kind of how they work. But yeah, I mean, and watching that interview with Gabe, I so would love to talk to him. I really would. I would love to pick his brain because I feel like I do get where he's coming from with what they attack and what they address and do and don't. And just like he said, he wanted to, hear what people thought about their game. And boom, we got smooth turning within 1 day, 2 days. Now, if they would have sent us the game before, we could have corrected them, but
Rizzle Rock coming through again.
Rizzle, cheers, man.
He
said we VR sometime. Absolutely.
Yeah, Alt Space Coffee and VR episode. That would be cool.
We could.
Yeah.
We could do a special gathering in Alt Space. Alt Space is a great game, and I'm glad they came back from the dead. And a lot of people probably don't even know that. They weren't around.
They were going to shut it down. Yeah, they were going to.
They did shut down. They did. They literally did shut down for like a week, maybe, or a week or two.
And some people came together to kind of resurrect them, as far as I know. But I did go to the Pistol Whip Challenge stuff. I did go to one of those in Alt Space, and it was really cool. And they were actually doing a whole thing within Alt Space. I don't know how we could do the Coffee VR show, like broadcast it in there too. I'm sure there's a way. Maybe we need to hook up with Vivian Chazin to help figure that out. She was doing a lot of that stuff with that. But I mean, it was like I was in there, and they had the big screen, and they were actually doing kind of what we're doing with everybody inside of Alt Space. Maybe we could figure that out. That'd be really cool. I don't know exactly how to do that, but yeah.
Alt Space is a lot of fun. Except, funny story, somebody we talked about earlier was over at my place playing and got myself banned from Alt Space.
Yeah.
Because of what you could do, and there's moderators in there and stuff, and he was doing inappropriate things.
You had to email them to get your account back because he was being a little inappropriate.
I was crying laughing, but then I got banned. So
yeah. Talking about Half Life Alyx though, and that big name of what brought that big crowd. With Oculus buying up that studios, and they bought up the studio. I can't think of the name now. Assassin's Creed and I think Splinter Cell. What was the studio that made those? I can't think now.
Yeah.
Somebody will say in chat, but
yeah.
with them buying, they could be building some of these big name titles to come in VR as well. So Oculus might have something like this up their sleeve to get the exposure that Half Life Alyx has gotten. You know, if we get an Assassin's Creed or something in VR, like that would be fantastic, especially if it was done as good as Half-Life Alyx. So I think that could be, I think we're going to start seeing some of the big name titles coming. Half-Life Alyx was the first one really to do it. That was a big name flat game coming into VR. And I think, I think that it's a possibility that
I really hope somebody is gearing towards the new Xbox to run VR on that platform, because I feel like that is for the masses, that just like the PlayStation has been. But the only thing is, I was kind of in thoughts that Oculus might push the way of Microsoft and Oculus teaming up.
That's what we thought, and that's what we heard a leak from a while back, and that still could be happening. I don't know. That still could be coming.
With this new HP headset,
Ubisoft. Thank you, Steve XM. I couldn't think of the name.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But with this new HP headset, the Reverb G2, are we maybe going to see Valve pushing Steam towards? I don't know.
Somebody's got to do it. Microsoft has got to get. They got to get VR on the Xbox. It's going to be the death of them if they don't. I think.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea for everybody to team up, because look how big Oculus is becoming with their headsets currently.
Yeah.
So
they got a
wouldn't
big.
Be a bad idea.
They got a big corner of the market right now. With Quest and stuff like that. They really have no competitors right now. So.
Right.
And they got pretty much all the money in the world. Just about. They got a ton of money. So yeah, it wouldn't be a bad move. It wouldn't be a bad move. I don't know.
Right. Not at all. So I hope. We can only dream at this point. But yeah, hopefully we get a headset for the Xbox. I know I'll be buying one if so.
Yeah. Gaming Science Teacher said Facebook didn't buy Ubisoft, did they? They bought Beat Games and Sanzaro. I can't remember if they bought them or they struck a deal with them. I think maybe they didn't buy them. They didn't buy
think they
would
have bought the whole studio.
No, they struck a deal with them for some of the IPs and stuff that that they had. So I might have misspoke on that. I can't remember how the article read now. It's been a while back. But I remember they got some rights to some of the Ubisoft stuff is what it was, I believe. So, but yeah.
I don't think they bought the whole studio.
No, I don't think so. But they got the rights to use some stuff, and I remember Assassin's Creed being mentioned and stuff like that. So
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Any big name game that turns to VR, I think, is a good thing.
I agree.
We see more of them.
Brings more and more of those people over to the good side. If you know
GTA.
Please. Yeah.
Please,
everybody.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Please bring GTA to us in VR.
Yeah. A fully fleshed out, made for VR GTA with online.
GTA, Halo. There's got to be one more. There's got to be three. Maybe not. Maybe there's only 2 dream games for me.
What's the car game on Xbox we used to play all the time?
Forza Horizon?
Yeah, Forza Horizon. I would love that in VR. Be able to cruise around, modify the cars, street racing. That was cool back in the day.
I know. So anybody in chat, give us one game that your dream game would be.
Oh man, there's going to be
VR.
So many.
But honestly, I feel like there's a lot of games that everybody would want. For the masses. And I get everyone's got different, games that they like and stuff, and that's fine too. But, that one staple game, I feel like GTA would bring a ton of flat gamers over because of the
GTA would be the answer to a lot of people. Paradise Decay said Forza. I'm with him on that.
I agree.
Sure.
Yep,
yeah.
I do agree. Love Forza. Either one. Yeah. Horizon or Motorsport.
Uno. I know everybody's going to say Uno.
Here we go again. Will you stop it with the Uno?
Uno. We need Uno in VR.
Uno is not the be-all for VR, man.
Greg's VR is like almost the face of PokerStars, right?
This guy, man.
So, he's in PokerStars a lot, plays a ton of PokerStars, is always in there. I need him to let the developers know of PokerStars. They need to make an Uno table inside PokerStars. I just need it to happen. I need it to happen.
Here we go.
Mario Kart. Yeah, absolutely.
Mario Kart. Yeah, a real Mario Kart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gaming Science Teacher said Prey, Night Typhoon Hunter full game. Yeah. Elder Scrolls. Sure. Oh, man. Tron. Paradise Decay said Tron. Steve XM, Halo VR. MLB The Show, fully in VR.
Right. There would be some cool games, that we don't think about. Old games past that would be awesome.
Yeah.
What was old school? What was it? Trek? Was it Trek that was on 64? I think. or like old school. What was the one you used to fly the fighter? Oh, it's gonna hit me on 64.
I'm sure
Like
somebody will say in chat.
games where it was like a space.
Yeah. See, at least the VR wife life loves Uno too, so I have somebody to play Uno with in VR.
Yeah.
So Greg's VR, let me know when you make that happen. I want it to be inside PokerStars, so we have all the things to play with. PokerStars, fantastic game. Just add Uno in there. Oh, be so good.
Yep,
so
Duke
good. Batman.
There
is a Batman Arkham. Batman Arkham. You know, a full Batman game would be fantastic in VR. Batman Arkham was really good though. I really like that.
Yeah, sure.
BioShock, yeah. Duke Nukem. Oh man, so Madden or NBA 2K, yeah. I mean, it's so endless. The
maybe
possibilities
that's the game I was thinking of.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think so. Where you had like you were a raptor and you had like I think you even had like a mechanical arm.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I'm
old
not sure.
school game. Old game.
Swift and Deadly. Swift and Deadly said a legit Spider-Man game. They've
Star Fox, dude. That's the game.
Is that
Star
what it was?
Fox,
Yeah, Star Fox.
Star Fox in VR. That
Fight
would be
Night.
Amazing.
I
guess that's No Man's Sky.
I want to fight real boxers. That'd be cool. Yeah, instead of like Thrill of the Fight and stuff where you're made up characters. Man, there's so many ones that I never even thought of. That's such a good idea.
I know.
And who would have thought that Uno would have been the best one to mention? No?
Come on, man. Dream too much.
Oh, man. So awesome.
Man, that is funny.
Terminator, RoboCop, Dishonored. Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
There's so much stuff. Man, I really hope all of these games someday we're going to look back on this episode and be like, man, that was so funny. We were mentioning all these games and like, and someday it'll be so normal to have all these games in VR. You know what I'm saying?
So, we talk about all these old games and stuff. What about current games? Would like a Call of Duty, do you think that would bring a lot of people?
Heck yeah. What was there was a new Call of Duty thing that just came out that was like the Battle Royale kind of thing.
Free,
yeah. I mean, the thing is here's real quick. One thing I wanted to mention with Half Life Alyx and graphics is that I never thought in this day and age we would see the graphics that we see on flat games in VR. Half Life Alyx changed my mind.
Right.
So games like Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff that have fantastic graphics, I know it's possible now. I know it's possible to get those kind of graphics into VR, play well, run good. So yeah, I mean, any of the Call of Duty, the Battlefield games, I mean, all them things that are huge. I mean, it's so much more fun to play in VR when you're actually aiming down the sights. You're not using a thumbstick to aim a little crosshair. It's just night and day.
Right.
Yeah. So
PD said, I just hope they don't bring Tetris to VR. What a terrible idea. But honestly, after playing Smush,
they already did. Well, they brought Tetris to VR though. What's it called? It started on PlayStation, and now it's on I think the Epic Game Store. But I've still never played that one. But I play Tetris on my phone all the time.
Left 4 Dead. Yeah, there's so many good games that I feel like would be so much fun.
Yeah, Lincoln Clay said COD and VR would change the shooter landscape. It really would. I mean, it would. I know. I love games like Contractors, Pavlov, Onward, all those kind of games in VR. They're so much more fun to play to me. Like I know we've talked about before, I used to play a lot of Airsoft back in the day. You played with us as well. We did, if anybody old school Airsoft players, anything, I don't play anymore, but we did, if you know Airsoft GI, the Tim versus Bob, back when that stuff was huge, we went to one of those events, a Tim versus Bob event. It was a ton of fun. But to me, I don't even need to play that stuff anymore because in VR, I can do the same thing. I mean, it's
way more fun. Yeah. Way more fun.
Yeah, in environments and places that I could never play in the real world. So, but yeah, I mean, I love it.
It is, and it's different. I mean, don't get me wrong. We would go out, we would be like soaking wet and like, stuff like that. So obviously you're not getting that in VR, but the ease of experiences in VR, it's just so good. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, all these games, I can't wait till a day comes when this is just the norm.
But like a studio, like one of the, like Call of Duty, hire like the contractors guys, bring them in-house, hire them to do it. And let them do what they do. They already have the mechanics down and everything.
Yeah, just use all the assets.
Dump people in for map design and assets and everything, and let them do that. And then let the guys who know VR optimize it for VR.
I mean, even look at some of the most popular stuff in Half-Life. I mean, in Pavlov, some of the most popular custom maps are the maps from games like Halo, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike,
CSGO,
CSGO. Like, I mean, all those. Yeah, I mean, that's all stuff that is the most popular, so it would blow up. But
I know.
Older Rockstar games, Manhunt or Bully.
Rockstar, I feel like Rockstar is definitely going to jump into VR. I know they've talked about it. They've dabbled, saying that, hopefully future stuff may have it. And I think they will, as long as they can get it to run right, which,
Right.
Stuff's optimized now. I mean, you can turn down graphics if you need to. And we're seeing it now. I mean, they're already running GTA in VR. So we know it's possible with old stuff. So
yeah. Yep.
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Yep, but man, awesome. It's good to have Tyler back. We've so much appreciated the guests and stuff that have helped us out. GT, Gaming Science Teacher, Steve XM, Steve Drumheller's helped us in the past. I mean, everybody.
Cheers to everybody.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Super chats, all the likes. We really do.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to get back. I didn't feel at home, listening to the show, because I'm like weird. Listening to it and I'm like wanting to interject and say something. And I'm like, oh, I just want to say this. I'm driving, so I can't type in chat and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough, but it's good to get back. It's good to see
hopefully YouTube fixes out their crap, because the amount of people in the live chat has been a lot lower than it normally is lately. But that's okay. I mean, that's fine. They'll get it figured out eventually. Yep. We'll figure that out. And
we really do appreciate everyone helping us push our links out on Reddit and Facebook. Greg's, thank you for that. It is, it's tough for us to get them all out there.
A bunch of people actually did that. A bunch of people were helping us. So yeah,
absolutely.
But I think that's pretty much all we have for today. I know some people are going to be jumping back into Half Life Alyx and some other really awesome games. The Room, I know Jamie Science Teacher is probably going to be back in there. The wife she only left the room once we started the show because she was sitting there playing down the rabbit hole. She's trying to get all those achievements, so she'll probably be back into that once the show's over. So, but again, thank you so much, and we'll definitely need to get into some alt space or something. Maybe try to figure that out.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we can probably do that, because I can get the wife in there too. How many people can you have in alt space? That's a lot of people, right? I can't even remember.
Good bit. I forget now. So,
somebody make us a coffee shop in there.
Well, I just said right before we went live, with Hammer hopefully coming out soon for the Half-Life modding, I really want to get in there. I'd have to learn Source 2, but that wouldn't probably take me long. Design a level for a coffee shop. But see, I don't know how are people going to play it? Do you just download it and go in solely? I wish
we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens once the modders once the modders get their hands on it. But I mean, there's some super talented people just in our community too, like on the Discord. Fluke Rogi, Steve XM, both messing around with Blender, doing some amazing stuff in Blender and stuff. It's really cool. So I'm sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's what got my account banned, was something to do with that. So maybe.
But we should. I mean, in these times, we all got to come together and hang out, and we can't, hang out in the real world in a lot of terms. So we'll make it happen.
The Funky Deep in there and DJ for us.
Oh, that would be sweet. That would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah. So we'll figure that out. Check the Discord. Yeah, maybe we can make that happen. I know everybody's got some free time this weekend. I know we're not really planning on leaving the house. I don't think. I got the yard mostly mowed yesterday, at least the backyard. So tomorrow? Check the Discord. We'll figure it out maybe tonight, tomorrow. Yeah, let's figure it out for sure.
Yep.
All right.
Well, definitely join the Discord. Yeah, keep in contact. We'll post it on there.
Yep.
But yeah, glad to be back. Good to see everybody. Good to talk to everybody. And definitely play Half-Life Alyx if you don't have it. Please buy VR to play it. Well worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Later, everybody. Later, guys. We'll see you in Half-Life Alyx in 1 second.
Alt space.
Oh.
Oh, mics are still on. They can hear us. We're just stuck in TVs.